Welcome everyone. Today, we are diving into a fascinating paradigm shift in technology, the agentic era, why the model eats the harness. This presentation will walk you through some high-level strategic insights on AI scaffolding, the evolution of world models, and how creation is becoming truly democratized. These insights are distilled straight from conversations with Google DeepMind's Logan Kilpatrick, originally shared via Sequoia Capital. Let's jump right in. Let's start by looking at how the AI ecosystem is being completely rewired. Previously, the Gemini API was the common thread connecting everything at Google. But today, there's been a massive paradigm shift. The new central nervous system is what's known as the anti-gravity agentic harness. As you can see in this architecture stack, base models now flow into this anti-gravity harness, which includes CLIs, SDKs, web, and IDE interfaces. From there, it orchestrates actions across Google's 50-plus consumer and internal products. Products are actively rebasing onto this new system so they can take autonomous action on behalf of users. So, where are we in terms of capability? We can map this on the agentic capability matrix: crawl, walk, and run. Right now, mainstream products like Google Search are in the crawl phase. Because they operate at a massive scale of over 13 billion user flows, they require high human stewardship, meaning the human stays firmly in the driver's seat. Moving up, we have the walk phase, representing the frontier. Think of the Gemini app, acting as a 24/7 always-on consumer agent capable of taking bounded actions for you. Finally, we have the run phase, which is the engine of the future: autonomous, long-running vertical agents, like DeepMind's anti-gravity coding agents, spending compute and rebuilding entire systems. The big insight here is that the bottleneck to reaching run isn't actually the model's IQ, it is the immense stewardship responsibility of migrating billions of human internet habits safely. Next, we need to address a common fear in the industry: the zero-sum fallacy of AI. There's a cannibalization myth floating around that AI agents will just reduce human eyeball hours and eat into core web interfaces. But the reality is entirely positive sum. Agents search too, which means the total volume of intelligence and action actually compounds over time. For Google, the true North Star in this era is no longer about maximizing the time your eyeballs spend on a screen. It is about maximizing user outcomes. If the user achieves their goal and gets to go live their life, the technology has succeeded. This brings us to our core thesis: the model eats the harness. Let's look at the three phases of this evolution. In phase 1, the past, the model was just raw weights. You sent tokens in, and you got tokens out. Today, we are in phase 2, the harness era. Models currently require external scaffolding, like containers, tool calling, and code execution environments, to be useful. This is the present alpha where startups are currently capturing massive value. But looking about 12 months out, we enter phase 3, native digestion. General models will adapt to work natively with any environment, essentially swallowing and digesting that external scaffolding. The main takeaway for builders? Alpha will inevitably shift away from building bespoke foundational harnesses, because the models will just do this natively. If you want to see this future today, look at coding. Coding is the vanguard of what feels like narrow superintelligence. To put this in perspective, 350,000 Android apps were built in AI Studio in just a single week. Why is coding moving so fast? First, the verifiability advantage. Coding is the ultimate testing ground because success or failure is immediately and mathematically verifiable. Second, it unlocks hyperpersonalization. The vast majority of these 350,000 apps were bespoke solutions to personal problems, like custom gardening trackers. This is completely redefining developer ambition. AI isn't replacing developers, it's acting as an accelerant, rapidly expanding the scope of what humans consider possible to build. Beyond standard apps, we are heading toward a future where we can vibe code media, like video games. The workflow looks like this: a human idea goes to an agentic coder like Gemini, which connects to a game engine to output a playable app. However, right now, there is missing scaffolding in the middle, things like orchestration, sprite generation, and asset routing. The key insight is that by late 2025, just a random person off the street will be able to vibe code a playable video game. The bottleneck isn't the model's capability anymore, it's the tasteful product scaffolding needed to reliably link those coding agents with modern game engines. Let's shift to how these models understand the world, specifically demystifying native Omni. Traditional multimodal AI relied on a router system that sent your prompts to specialized, separate models for text, video, audio, and music. It was architecturally brittle and computationally expensive. Native Omni, like the Omni Flash model, changes everything by natively processing reality through a single, unified model architecture. We saw a perfect example of this in Toolsey's Dog on Stage test. Omni seamlessly edited a dog onto a live video stage in real time, perfectly mapping subtle lighting changes, spatial awareness, and crowd reactions, all without breaking the underlying human authenticity. This native Omni capability is completely blurring the definition of a world model. The traditional definition of a world model was strictly an action-conditioned video model, essentially a highly specialized visual simulator. But the new Omni reality embeds deep physical, spatial, and contextual understanding of reality directly into a general model framework. The key synthesis here is that Omni proves true world models don't have to be strictly action-conditioned video engines. The definitions are blurring as general models natively acquire profound spatial logic capable of manipulating physical environments. So, how do independent startups compete against tech giants in this era? By understanding the incumbent burden. A giant like Google has to support over 13 billion user product flows. Their requirement for universal safety and extreme reliability prevents them from taking extreme risks in narrow verticals. That is the startup superpower. Startups can win through hyper-focus and leveraging vertical expertise. They can embrace a high risk tolerance to target high reward user cohorts that the giants simply cannot serve. And they have speed. They can exploit the current capability overhang using agentic coding to easily outpace legacy software development. Finally, let's look at the engine room driving this innovation, DeepMind's cultural flywheel. It's a perfect marriage of two forces. On one side, you have Nobel Prize science, Demis Hassabis's original mission to solve fundamental human problems, like disease, through profound scientific optimism. On the other side, you have unprecedented scale, over 100,000 Google engineers using Gemini as a daily driver, creating a massive, real-world dogfooding and feedback loop. At its core, the culture rejects zero-sum ego battles or just trying to outcompete rivals for numbers. Instead, it is driven by one defining philosophy: refusing to let other people make the world a better place more than we can. Thank you for watching.